You wake up and the house is quiet in the wrong way. Not peaceful quiet, the kind where every floorboard sounds like a verdict. Your phone has 1 bar of signal and 17 unread group chats that somehow aren't about you. You tell yourself this is fine. People pay money for silence. But your chest doesn't believe you, because for most of human history, quiet didn't mean rest. It meant you were outside the fire, where the wolves didn't need an invitation. The paradox is brutal. We built a world where you can be more connected than any hunter-gatherer ever was, and still feel left off the ball toss. And the answer is stranger than loneliness being a mood. It's a survival reflex wearing a modern face. Here's what makes it worse than just in your head. In 2003, Naomi Eisenberger scanned people playing cyberball, catch with strangers online. Mid-game, the other players stop throwing you the ball. No insults, no explanation. Minutes later, the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex lights up, the same region that flares when you burn your hand. And it's not just embarrassment. A 2023 U.S. Surgeon General advisory reported that poor social connection raises the risk of premature death by roughly 26 to 29%. A magnitude researchers have compared, controversially, to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar estimated our ancestors survived in bands of 30 to 50, with communities maxing around 150 stable relationships. Out there alone, you weren't independent. You were inventory waiting to be deleted. So why do we fear being alone? It wasn't one thing. It was several small advantages stacking together. Here's the thing most people never consider. Loneliness is not the same as being alone. You can choose solitude on a Saturday and feel restored. Loneliness is the gap between the connection you have and the connection you need. An involuntary alarm, not a preference. Evolution tuned it like hunger. Unpleasant on purpose, so you move. For mammals, being off the social perimeter once meant no shared food, no watch at night, no mate. The principle is simple. Isolation used to be a credible death sentence, but an alarm alone wasn't enough, because the worst threat wasn't always a predator outside the camp. Humans can betray each other. John Cacioppo argued a blunt, go find people signal would have pushed our ancestors to trust the wrong allies, the ones who could literally stab them in the back. So the brain added hypervigilance. When you feel isolated, you don't just crave company, you scan for threats. Neutral faces read as rejection. You get prickly before anyone can reject you first. That made sense on a Pleistocene edge. Loneliness doesn't only pull you toward others, it weaponizes suspicion. And yet that still isn't the whole machine, because biology needed a signal you couldn't ignore. Your body treats social loss like tissue damage. Rejection activates pain circuits overlapping with physical hurt. Newer imaging shows the patterns aren't identical. Your nervous system doesn't care. It still hurts. Excluded cyberball players rated heat pulses to their skin as more painful after the ball stopped coming. Social pain isn't poetry. It's nociception aimed at your belonging. Lose the tribe, lose the body's confidence, you'll survive long enough to matter. Each layer helped. Stacked together, they made ignoring isolation nearly impossible. The threshold moment came when isolation stopped being temporary. For most of our history, loneliness was a blip between reunions, bad nights before the band came back. Then we built cities of millions, schedules that atomize families, and feeds that simulate belonging without delivering it. You can sit in a room of strangers, or scroll past hundreds of faces, and remain on the social perimeter. The world before treated loneliness as an emergency to end today. The world after treats it as background hum you manage with podcasts and productivity. Same brain, different conditions. The alarm never got a firmware update. Here's the hidden cost. The reflex that evolved to save you can now imprison you. Chronic loneliness pushes the brain into self-preservation mode. Worse sleep, more inflammation, cortisol that won't stand down, while making you preemptively push people away. The cure and the poison share a bloodstream. We built infinite connection and made perimeter dwelling ordinary, so the ancient signal fires constantly, like a smoke detector in a kitchen where nothing's burning except you. If you want more stories that make the familiar world feel strange again, subscribe. You were never afraid of empty rooms. You were afraid of what empty rooms used to mean. And your nervous system hasn't forgiven us for pretending that history is over.